The history of this event is that it started in Oak Park School District, and we have a family from Oak Park School District here. Can you raise your hands where you're at? Back there?
We're alumni, but not because
Okay. So, over there. So we have Oak Park School District and Debbie Hamill. Raise your hand, Debbie. Debbie's the science specialist, is that correct? At Oak Park School District. And before Debbie Hamill worked there, Debbie West, raise your hand, Debbie West. Debbie West started and kept alive this very innovative approach to collaborative work in the area of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. So what we used to do is we used to have these portfolios where students would put together a kit of their idea and a little multimedia presentation, and they would teach a lesson to younger kids. This year we've been really fortunate because we benefited from a collaboration with Alcoa. Local Alcoa provided a grant of $15,000 to help us take Idea to Impact to a new level. So this year we're actually running Idea to Impact as an online game in collaboration with Northern Rift, whose founder, Rob DePinto, raise your hand, Rob. Rob has created this very innovative game that you guys got to play, and the teachers got to play last fall. So before you guys played this past few weeks, the teachers last fall learned how to play the game and how to create their own ideas and post. And then after the teachers got to play for a little while, then all of you got to play your game. So what I'd like to do now, we're still waiting for our sound guy, send him to get a little clicker, so that's why I've got some nice musical background here. It's like elevator music while I'm talking. What I'd like to do is I'd like to point out our special guests. Debbie, can you click forward one slide? So we have from Northern Rift, obviously, Rob. Rob, will you stand? Okay, that's Rob. And he'll be talking a little bit later on. And then we also have from Alcoa Fastening 4 representatives. And so when I announce your name, can you please stand? We have Karen Harlan. We have Kristen March. We have Mirzad Bari, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. And Ernest Diaz. So let's just give Alcoa a hand for generously donating $15,000. So that's kind of the history of the Idea to Impact Student Challenge. How about anybody who had a good time and learned something from playing the Idea to Impact game online? Will you raise your hand? Anybody who learned something, had a good time playing the Idea to Impact Student Challenge? Okay. So we had a really good experience with playing this game, and we're hoping that we can keep this program alive into the future. So tonight's agenda was up at the beginning. We're going to start off with just my introductions here, and then we're going to transition to a very special guest speaker. We have Dr. Tetsuya Ohara from Patagonia. He's the Director of Innovation Research for Patagonia. And I'm going to introduce him in just a second. And then we'll have Rob DePinto talk a little bit about the game so that your parents can know what you guys are up to in playing the game. And then we're going to finish up with probably the thing you're not interested in at all, right? You're not interested in the awards part of this? We can just go home without that, right? No, you want that part. Okay, we'll definitely do that part. And then we'll finish up if you want to have some photos taken, okay? So I'd like to introduce now our special guest speaker, Dr. Tetsuya Ohara. He's the Director of Innovation Research for Patagonia Incorporated. Anybody know where Patagonia is located? Ventura. Anybody know? Have you seen it driving along the freeway up to Santa Barbara? Yeah, it's in downtown Ventura. It's a beautiful location. In this role of Director of Innovation Research, Tetsuya builds a vision of long-term, radical eco-innovation for the company's product lines and new business. I don't own anything Patagonia yet, but I got a very generous gift certificate from someone who works at Patagonia, and I'm looking forward to completely outfitting myself for my backpacking trip this summer, staying nice and warm. Last time I froze, so I'm looking forward to staying warm. So one of his signature projects was making a wetsuit out of, how do you say it, Waiuli? Waiuli, a native plant from Arizona that requires no petroleum. He also discovered a plasma technology on down and spearheaded Patagonia's limited edition in capsule down belay parka, which set new standards in lightness and warmth. More recently, Tetsuya spearheaded research and development of merino air that was chosen gold winner in base layer category at the IPSO Award 2015. He began his career at Teijin Limited, a multinational chemical company in Osaka, Japan, where he was in charge of sailcloth from 1985 until 1995, and developed high-tech sailcloth for America's cup boats. In '96, he moved his family to Connecticut to work for Dimension Polyant Sailcloth Incorporated, where he designed lightweight composite materials for NASA's 40-meter environmental research balloon. Wow, this is a great career. I wanted to have this career. It's like a rocket scientist career. And incorporated sailcloth technology for a drum head widely used in the music industry. Wow, from surfboards to plasma technology, you've done it all here. This is impressive. He's had patents in 2000, 2008, 2010, 2011, and 2012. A bachelor's degree in economics from Doshisha University in Kyoto, Japan. And he has an MBA from Pepperdine University, right in our own backyard. He also completed the executive education program at Harvard Business School, Stanford Graduate School of Business, and Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Whoa, that's pretty impressive. And Mr. O'Hara is a member of the Board of Visitors at Pepperdine University School of Business and Management, as well as a member of the advisory board at MIT Sports Technology and Education. Let's give Tetsuya a big round of applause.
Thanks so much, Leo. Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad to be here with you. My name is Tetsuya O'Hara. I'm the Director of Innovation Research of Patagonia. Tetsuya means dedication in Japan. And O'Hara sounds like Irish, but this is a common Japanese name. It's a little weird. Let me introduce myself first. I was born and raised in Kyoto, Japan, where people respect craftsmanship. And I attended Doshisha University in 1981 to 1985. My major was economics. I wanted to become an economist at that time. At the same time, I started windsurfing when I was a college student. I used to windsurf every day at that time. And I was very curious about the sailcloth because sometimes I was able to go fast and slow. And I thought that's really because of the material. And I used to break down the sailcloth and look inside, see the textile fibers and polymers. And I wanted to get a job. I continued to engage in that sports. And I found a company called Teijin Limited in Osaka, Japan, $10 billion multinational the public company. And fortunately, they hired me in 1985, and they put me a right job from the beginning, sales, R&D, sales, and marketing. So my interest became my job from the beginning. That was really fortunate. I'm really grateful about it. In 92 and 95, I had an opportunity to involve America's Capital Trades as an official sailcloth supplier. There, I met Dimension Point Sailcloth. That was a competitor to Teijin, but we found a way to collaborate. We made a lot of high-tech sale for many syndicates, like Team Dance Corner, Team New Zealand, Team Australia. After 95 in San Diego, Dimension Point Sailcloth offered me a job. And literally they asked me to move to Connecticut from Osaka. And we decided to move in 1996 after working in Beijing 11 years. That was a big decision. We still believe that was a really great, biggest decision in our life so far. At the Dimension Korean, they asked me to continue R&D for sale. At the same time, they asked me to expand the business outside of sale. And we made a business in aerospace, working with NASA, and the music industry, working with Remo, Drumhead, Evans, Pearl, Yamaha. And also, we thought cell cloth technology could be useful for outdoor industry. And I knew Patagonia was the best, and I approached Patagonia. I made design of Patagonia. Actually, I modified Spinnaker cell cloth construction, the tidal weave, and then remove all the coatings, and presented to Patagonia designer, why don't you try as a lightweight wind shirts as a material. They were really excited. This technology came from different industry. They made a lot of prototype and then tested, and the feedback was really positive. So in 1998, Patagonia launched a new product called Dragonfly. At that time, that was the lightest windproof jacket in the industry. Still now, the product continues. Product name has changed to Houdini. Check out our website or Patagonia store. The Houdini has been one of the best sellers in Patagonia history. So since the late 90s, I made a bunch of business in Patagonia. And after the meeting in Ventura headquarters in 2002, they offered me a job. Why don't you run our material science team? And I was really excited. And I talked to my wife, and we decided to move to Southern California. At that time, we were a little tired to live in a cold place. In the winter time, it's a little brutal. So it was a great opportunity for us to move to Southern California. So I started working in Patagonia in 2003. And it's been 12 years, time flies really fast. Never bored. I still on the water, probably 200, 250 days a year. Our headquarters is just 2 minutes away from one of the best surf breaks in Southern California. It's really fortunate. I'm actively doing 7 different sports right now. Windsurf, still I'm doing surfing, paddleboard, kite surfing I started last year, and ski, snowboard, and mountain biking. I'm 53 years old, but I'm really healthy. I feel really well. And in 2007, I thought probably we will live in this country forever, so better to earn a degree in this country. And I talked to CEO of Patagonia. I'm thinking to go Pepperdine. What do you think? He was really supportive. So 2007 I went to Pepperdine MBA program, and I earned. So that was really challenging for me because I came from Japan. A lot of reading and writing in English, of course. That was a really big challenge. But through the learning process, I was able to make a lifelong friend, a lot of lifelong friends from many different industries. That was my really big asset. I still connect with these people. I'm really happy about it. So through my career, I've learned important lesson to unlock your creativity. Today, I really like to talk about how you can unlock creativity. The first, I believe, you have to appreciate your life and calm down your mind and then create a big space to be able to think freely. If you suffer very competitive environment, you may limit your capacity to think freely. That's probably most important things I've learned. And the second things, you need to have a discipline. Very easy to say, difficult to do. Eat very healthy food, organic food, and do physical exercise. Ideally every day. and do meditation. So 3 things are really important to refresh your body and soul. So that gives you the higher level of creativity, I believe. Patagonia has a very strong mission statement: make the best product, cause no unnecessary harm, use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. Actually, I met Yvon Chouinard, founder of Patagonia, in 1993, back in Japan. At that time, Patagonia was one of Teijin's customers, and our marketing team asked me to do fabric clinic at Patagonia Japan in Kamakura, Japan. And I did not know anything about Patagonia. I did not know Yvon Chouinard at all. And I visited, and Patagonia did a clinic. After the clinic, they invited to attend opening ceremony of Surfrider Japan, the opening ceremony. And Yvon Chouinard was the keynote speaker there. He was sitting in a keynote seat. As you may know, he doesn't look like businessman. He considers himself a dirtbag. He's been doing surfing, climbing 40 years, 50 years. So I was really curious about him. And then he said he really wants to inspire, implement solutions to the environmental crisis by using his business. I dropped my jaw. I have never met a person like him. Intuitively, I thought a person like him can change the world. So 10 years later, from 1993, I joined Patagonia. So it was not planned. I did not know. Something happened in the future in your life. Sometimes it's really exciting. This is the most exciting part of the life. So appreciate your life and having a discipline and have your mission statement. Whatever you do in business or project or even your life, if you have your own mission statement, you don't have to lose your ultimate goal. I think it's really important. I learned from Patagonia a lot. I created my own mission statement. So every time I stuck the direction, I revisit my mission statement to make sure I'm heading the right direction. Patagonia has a very strong design philosophy, which is simplicity, functionality, and versatility. So these philosophy guide us to make the best quality product. If we don't have such philosophy, there's no way to make such high quality product, I believe. And after making a mission statement and a philosophy, I really suggest to have your mentor or coach. You can imagine even Olympic player, professional baseball player, major league, they have to have a coach. Otherwise, they cannot win. I believe in our daily life, if you have coach or mentor, that can change your life probably, the quality of life and level of life. Work together with your mentor and coach and identify your strengths and weakness, and invest to your strength, and also confirm your weakness, and hire your people if you have a company, and who can reinforce your weakness. This is how you can build a team. And the last things, if you have a success with the innovation, I really suggest you to give back. You don't have to wait until you have a big success. As soon as you have small success, giving back, which is very important. Giving back gives you another level of the capacity to generate new innovation. So that's my quick talk tonight, and thank you so much. And I'd be happy to take your questions. Any questions? Yes.
The fiber that you used, what made you think of the fiber? What was it again? Guyana? The fiber from Arizona.
Wayuli?
Wayuli.
Yes.
What made you think of Waiuli as a material?
So, as I mentioned, I've been surfing all of my life. And I knew neoprene rubber was not environmentally friendly. So for many years, I've been looking for alternative material. In 2008, accidentally, I was able to meet farmers in Arizona. They were making Waiuli plants. And they were a small-scale trial for the tire, like a resistant tire. They were also looking for alternative materials. And the farmers breaks the branch and show me natural rubber from the branch. And it was really sticky. And they put the rubber on the hand, and that rubber quickly becomes solid. So intuitively, I thought that might be really interesting to make a wetsuit rubber. And it was not so difficult to make a closed cell sponge from that rubber. We really need closed cell for the wetsuit. So after 4 years trial, and we were able to launch first plant-based wetsuit in 2012. Carbon emission, CO2 emission is 80% less than traditional neoprene, and smells really nice, like a desert smell. So when you paddle, you feel like you're in desert. That's really neat. Surfers like it, and really stretchy and durable. And this year, we upgraded our wetsuit, and we got FSC certification. FSC means Forest Stewardship Council. FSC was founded in 1993 to promote responsible management of world forests. And we believe FSC certification can influence and change the industry practice. So our mission is to inspire influence solutions to the environmental crisis. So we are always looking for a tool to influence the rest of the world. So we believe FSC, you can see FSC paper and wood anywhere in the world. So people can connect to FSC logo. It's really easy instead of Waiuli plants. So we learn FSC first, and then automatically they look into more deeper level. Oh wow, this wetsuit made by plants. That's really cool. So that's what we've been working with. It's been really successful. It's biodegradable, of course. Yes. Yeah. So the big challenge is how we can balance between environmental sustainability and also profitability. Often when we take green material, our costs will go up, and then our sales may go down. That's the big dilemma. That's why many companies in the world still struggling to become green. And Patagonia would like to become a model, willing to take a risk and to demonstrate how we can balance. Doing the right things, but still making profit. It's really important. If we are not profitable, no one pay attention. Any other questions? I've been working in US 20 years. I just cannot thank enough to this country. It's a lot of opportunities. And I couldn't see such big opportunity in Japan. When I moved to US, the president of Dimension Korean Self told me anything possible in this country. That was really inspiring. His word really changed my life. So the people you meet in your life may influence, maybe change your life. It's really important. So every day, every time, every moment, pay a lot of attention, appreciate your life, and respect the others. So someday, some way, good fortune will come.
So it's a little scary that we're the same age and I look so old. I don't remember if I introduced who I am earlier. I get nervous when I get up in front of crowds. So I'm Professor Phil Hampton. I'm a faculty member here at Cal State Channel Islands. I wear a lot of different hats. Friend of Debbie, mad scientist. I run the science carnival that happens every fall. Maybe some of you have come to that event. So what I'd like to do next, we have Rob DiPinto, and I struggled to find your bio on my iPad, Rob. I'm sorry. So you're going to get the really shortened version. Maybe you can embellish it a little bit. So Rob got introduced to me by Debbie last summer and was talking about this great company that Rob has and a platform that he has for collaboration. So Rob is the founder, CEO, probably claim a bunch of other titles at Northern Rift, probably programmer extraordinaire and numerous other ones. So he's created this amazing platform that we've been able to benefit from and collaborate on through the Idea to Impact Student Challenge. So I can turn it over to Rob now. Are you going to down there? Are you going to be up here? You're going to be up here, okay.
Kangaroo. And the sole purpose of that being there is I'm Australian, so talk funny. That's the point of the kangaroo. First of all, thank you all for all the work you put in. And if you're a teacher, can you put up your hand? Thank you. I know you put a lot of work in and getting the students here and guiding them through it. Alcoa, thank you very much. And it's your incredible talk, and it's perfect for what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to go through a little bit. I want to talk about ideas, and it does mirror a lot of what Tetsuya just explained, and following your passion and why ideas are so important because they lead to innovation and they lead to change. So hopefully it will make sense. I've never given this presentation before, so we'll just jump into it. My background, no, I'm not a software programmer, but I have sailed a lot across the Atlantic, so that was pretty cool. So Northern Rift, what Northern Rift is, is about. I'm the founder of Northern Rift, and I'll give you a bit of history about it later. But it is around providing real-world skills and real-world experience to every student, because the skills that you have experienced already in Northern Rift, you may not realise it, but are going to come into play later, and all through your degrees in education and career. So we believe everything starts with an idea. And it's a passion, it's something that interests you, it's what you're curious about. And sometimes you drop that idea and you go and do something else, and that's okay, because you figured out that wasn't for you. But everything does start with an idea, and it's where you spend your time, it's where you sort of research, as Tetsuya did, it's things you play with, and that is a path to purpose. And a lifelong, sometimes ideas become a lifelong quest, and they become your careers and your jobs, and it's what interests you, and that's the most important thing, is to do what interests you and what you're passionate about. And we believe, Northern Rift as a company, our philosophy is that if you pursue ideas, you have a purposeful life, you're better at what you do, and we can sort of realise some human potential. And I'll kind of explain what that means a little bit later. So, I want to talk about an idea. Who knows what an idea is? Want to have a crack?
An idea is something they come up with in your head.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And an idea is something that can change the status quo. It's something that you might want to see in the world that you think is cool. And ideas go all the way from a hunch that's in your head to an innovation that actually gets implemented. But what happens in the middle, which is the big thing? So you've got a hunch in your head, and then you tell someone, it becomes an idea. But then what else happens? You have to do a lot of work. You do experiments, you do 4 years of testing, you might do 10 years of testing, and then eventually that becomes innovation. And then there's an ongoing impact. What happens next? So I'm going to use this framework of going from a hunch in your head to an idea that you share, like you did on Northern Rift, to the collaboration and the experiments that you did, to innovation. I'm going to use 3 different examples. Some are from last century. I can't believe I just said that, but they're examples that I'm reasonably familiar with, and hopefully they'll make sense. just to show how people can have ideas and how they make them happen, and all the experiments that we go through. Who knows who this person is? Probably not many of you. Okay, he's a very famous artist who lived last century called Pablo Picasso. And he had an idea. He had many ideas. And one of his ideas was, hey, I'm going to draw this picture. It's going to be a bull and a guy with a cape. It's kind of got some weird looking art, but he had this idea. But then what happened in the middle is what I want to show you. And I'm going to have to jump down and play a little bit of a video. It just goes for a minute long, and it's the best example that I've seen to explain, because an idea can be a piece of art. It doesn't just have to be science. It doesn't have to be, a big piece of technology. An idea can be a piece of art that changes people's perspective on the world and brings them enjoyment. So I'm just going to play this. Give me 1 second.
So speaking of, let's watch Picasso paint. This is a documentary that was made by a friend of his that got to capture his process while he was painting. So he was in the studio with Picasso, capturing the moment after every major change to the photo. So now watch the legs. This is a bullfighter. Look at the legs on the bullfighter on the left side. One leg down, one leg up. Now the top leg just went up. He's going to paint over that with the cape. Paint the cape red. Hide all evidence that it used to have both legs going down. Now on the right-hand side, look at his two hands. The one hand on the sword is open, and the hand facing forward is closed. Changes his mind, the hand on the sword closes, the hand facing forward opens. Now watch the legs in green. He's going to change his mind. Top leg is going to go down. Oh, actually, I love this, the bull's head. Imagine he's looking at this going, hey man, I'm Picasso, I can do better than that. So okay, now look at the legs are going down, he's going to cover that up with the cape. Now, I think that watching this process and the mistakes is a lot more encouraging than just seeing a finished product. This is why you should never compare your inside to someone else's outside.
That make sense? So the important thing there is, in the middle of this idea and this great piece of art was a whole bunch of experimentation. He moved forward by making mistakes, but we need to reframe that to actually doing experiments. Because in order to have ideas and grow them, you need to do experiments and you get feedback. And it's what innovation is about. And he got better with practice. The more he practiced this idea of innovation process, the better he got. And the impact, the ongoing impact is art-inspired people, for generations, and still does today. And the other really important point is, not everyone liked his art. Not everyone liked his idea, and that's okay. So some people are going to love your idea, other people are not going to like it. But if you like it, you need to pursue it. So the next example I want to talk about really quickly is this one. Who knows who this person is? Someone should know. Yay! JFK. Very famous president, had lots of big ideas. The one idea I want to talk about is this one. We're going to send a man to the moon. And that was in the early 60s, 1961. Huge idea. And that's the end result of what happened in the middle. And let's just explore that. They came up with a really cool name for the program, the Apollo program, and a logo, so it's something that people could identify and talk about. And then they kind of broke this massive problem down into lots of little problems. Hey, we need, we need an operations center. We need rockets, we need spaceships. There's all these different parts of this big idea. And then they said, hey, we need astronauts. And then you actually need something to put the astronauts in. So even though the idea was huge, they broke it down into small chunks, and then they started experimenting. And because I'm an engineer, I like rockets, and they're pretty cool. So they experimented with rockets, and then they did more experiments with rockets. And they experimented on everything, and they had big failures, huge failures. But they kept going, and they kept experimenting, they kept learning, and they kept getting better. And then eventually they did a big test, and then eventually they did put a man on the moon. and brought him back within 9 years. So that was an incredible idea that called the resources of this whole country. And the point that I want to make with this example is that you can see a whole bunch of jobs there, and I just kind of brainstorm them. But I can't think of one job or career that didn't feed into making that idea happen. So it's not just about being a scientist. You know, you can be an artist or a communicator, whether it's, you know, writing, design, it doesn't matter what. There's a role that feeds into all these big ideas. It's really important to, you know, find that passion, because without all those people, that never would have happened. And the impact of that has lasted decades. You know, that technology feeds into all these, you know, everything we use today is still a product of that, as well as all the, you know, new engineering skills and the inspiration. And you know what? At the time, not everyone thought it was a great idea. So it's another really the same point. Just because people don't like your idea doesn't mean it's not good. You've got to experiment and pursue it. The last example, which is kind of hilarious really, but it is a slightly different story on ideas, and it is around, let's just talk about it. So I had the idea for Northern Rift about 10 years ago, and the thing is I didn't share it with anyone. It just sat in my head for years, and I was in Sydney, Australia. And then a couple of years later I was in Singapore, and I shared it with a friend of mine in San Francisco. And it was a hunch in my head, just like my friend said down there. But when I shared it, it became an idea, and this guy said, that's actually pretty interesting, you should do it. So I kept working on it. So it's important to share your ideas, or else they're not going to go any further. So sharing them like you did on Northern Rift is scary sometimes, but it's really, really important. And then I worked on it in Hong Kong, and then we built a team in San Francisco, and also here in Los Angeles, so there's a group of people collaborating on this idea. And as we build friendships around the world, there's people we work with in New York and in London that are all working on Northern Rift now. So this platform that you're using, that you used in the last 4 weeks, was built by people all around the world. So in order to make this happen, we had to collaborate and work just like the way you did in Northern Rift. And it is a whole bunch of skills and a whole bunch of people coming together, running experiments. We made lots of mistakes, or to put it another way, we got a lot of feedback. And, you know, they're friends. These people have been friends for 15 years. And so, as a product of working on ideas and projects, you make connections to the other people in the room, which we'll jump into in a sec. And you can have an impact, as Tetsuya said, people say, you know, these things can go with you for the rest of your life. Not everyone thinks Northern Rift is a good idea, but, you know, there are people that do. Who knows where that is? No, the red dot, or the orange dot, sorry. Up there in the middle. It's Michigan. And there's a place in Michigan called Flint. And this is just a little story about the impact. Some people in Colorado saw what you all did here. They thought it was really cool, and they saw the benefits to education. They told some people in Flint. Flint contacted us because they want to do what you've done in Flint. They want all their students, universities, some local business people to come together and create a whole ecosystem where the community can come together and help work to solve the water problem. So the point of this is, by you doing what you did here, has had an impact across the other side of the country. So already, even with this little bit of work that you've done in the last 4 weeks, there is a trailing impact, and it's getting bigger. So, ideas, everything starts with an idea, they capture our imagination, and they bring people together to solve a problem. Let's talk about prizes. I'm just going to grab my computer. So, any questions on that, by the way? Okay, cool. As we do this, I want the students to get a little bit vocal. You know, if you're in the room, there's going to be some people that I don't think could make it tonight. So it's important, yeah, be vocal. You know, when your name is called, or if you see your name up there and you're here, stand up, come up, and grab your prize. We'd love to get a photo of you as well, because you all put a lot of work and effort into it, and you shared your ideas. And actually, let's just jump into it. I'm just going to open this up because it's easier to look at. If I remember my password. Fun times. All right. So the challenge, it was about generating ideas for the management of support in the world, to help meet the needs of the changing world, which we are very much environmentally focused here in Southern California, as you all know. So just some metrics about the game. In 4 weeks, all the students generated 454 ideas, including iterations, which is pretty extraordinary. You know, like just incredible. 4,500 collaborations. And even the simple act, if you remember when I said I was in Sydney and I was scared to share my idea, I sat on that thing for 3 years in my head. And then when I finally shared it with somebody, said, that's really cool, you should do it. That was enough to get me to work on it. So I wish I'd shared it earlier. No, things worked out. But the important thing is that encouragement for ideas that you like, really important. And the 50,000 word page views in 4 weeks is pretty amazing. And it's a network of collaboration and mutual support, because an idea is a group of people, like you saw. It's people working on rocket ships, it's people working on software, it's people coming together to solve a problem. And that's exactly what you've done for each other. You may not have seen it, but that's exactly what you've done for each other. All different schools, all different districts, different grades, engaged in the ideas that interest you. You all voted differently, which is fantastic, because you don't have to like every idea, and you shouldn't. You make your choices. And by looking at each other's ideas, all of a sudden you see a different view of the world. You see it through someone else's eyes, and maybe you learn something from someone else's ideas, which is another byproduct of doing this. So we went through a couple of phases: understand the topic, brainstorm, deeper collaboration, refine, and then here we are, final votes and prizes. So the brainstorm prize. The top brainstorm prize was for a set period of time, so even though someone may have generated more ideas by the end, this is the person who won the #1 brainstorm prize. Kayla? She's not here. Oh, she's in. Is she out of the room? That's fine.
This is the teacher, Vivian Fraser, Miss Fraser.
And because there were so many great ideas, we actually sort of brought in a second brainstorm prize. Ika? That's fair. Okay, collaborator prize, because you can be an idea generator, but without a team around you to help make it happen, it just doesn't mean anything. It doesn't go anywhere. Now, Annabelle, is she here? Hey!
So she's from the Deer Creek Middle School. That's awesome.
Okay, and we had 3 categories. We thought we'd try and break the ideas up into 3 categories. We were thinking about ideas they could do at home, school, you know, in the office. You know, some of these ideas you can do at home, and that's one of the great things about this. Or, you know, you can even do it at school and sort of measure the impact beyond this competition. The website's still going to be up there, so if you want to go and look around and keep playing these ideas, please do so. So the third, what we're looking at now is, by the way, how the students voted. This is all how you voted. So let's not waste water. Hey. Anyone from Storm Chasers here? For the people who don't know, some of the schools work in groups that have these names, Storm Chasers. No one's...
Oh, hi, Erica Scott, 7th grade science teacher. My gaggle, well, not even half my gaggle, so I did it with 185 students.
Okay, second, Andrea? She's not here. There's a couple of different Andreas, and I actually couldn't, this was one of the late registrants. Thank you.
I am AP Fraser from Frank Middle School.
These are shaved ice cream vouchers, by the way. It's not real money. They're actually, it's ice cream, it's more valuable. The first prize in this category is... Okay, so what have we got next? Community ideas, and these are ideas that, you know, you could actually deploy into the community. You know, maybe we need some partnerships to make happen, and these are all dependent on how the students categorise their ideas. We had nothing to do with the categorisation. Our algorithms calculated the votes. There was, for those of you that weren't on the system, there's a green yes, do it vote. There's a yellow maybe vote. You know, like, might need to do a bit more research or a bit more investigation. And there was a red, we don't think this is going to work vote. So getting an idea to a fast no has a lot of value as well. Is Kate here? It's all about time shouts, you know, according to the length of the song, which I thought was pretty cool.
I'm Kate Ruiz, and I'm from RJ Frank Middle School. And I just realised the slides do say 35 yes votes, 2 maybes and 4 no's.
Alice, and I'm from Haydock.
There's also a lot of, some of these ideas have a lot of detail, and the other thing that when we write about these ideas is some of the simplicity. I mean, I talk too long, and the kids articulated things so well. And there was images and videos as well. So moving on, community ideas. One more. Joshua. Not here? This is certainly a tougher idea. There's old wars everywhere, but 43 yes votes, 1 maybe, and 3 no's.
My name is Helen Yap. I am from the Deer Creek Middle School. We did it with our environmental science class, 6th grade, and I think we had a great time. And Debbie Hamill really helped us.
You can see on this idea we have an iterate button, and Joshua really loved the iterate button. There are 26 iterations, and you can see there's a template there that sort of tries to encourage people to fill out all the dimensions of an idea. And Joshua did that. He thought about the competition, the business, how he was going to build it, which is fantastic. Right. Moving on. Social media campaigns. Wasn't as many ideas in this category. I think it's going to be more challenging, but there is something interesting that I want to show you. Well, actually, they're all interesting. Sorry. Okay. Again. 15 yeses, 4 maybes, 1 no.
Congratulations.
So music video for the drought. And actually this is another idea. The next prize is related to this one, which is Music Can Also Save. There's a campaign related to making videos, music videos. And I actually want to show this, just give me 1 second.
Producing Michael, Michelle, Ruffin, and Kate Bolo.
Come on, save the community. Find out who is it. Come on, won't you help us? Come on, help us please. California's in the drought right now.
This school needs to help with the earth situation. This needs to spread throughout our nation. We all can be a hero. We all can conserve water and waste zero. Water keeps us all alive. We need water to survive. Water's being wasted up really fast. Without water, we won't last.
You turn the water off while you brush your teeth, and when you water your lawn, there's no water run into the street. Without water, food won't grow. Let us take care of every drop that goes.
I didn't mean to embarrass you, I just had to show that. So thank you for putting the effort into that. I thought it was great. Here's Joseph here. Number 1 idea. Teach kids.
I had one prepared. Sure. It's a little long.
How long is long?
All right, thanks. So, material award isn't as good as knowing my idea could possibly work. I mean, it's like going to an Oscar and kind of knowing your film sucks or something. Now, like I said, water purification is actually pretty easy. All you have to do is boil it in a parquet. And boom, you'll be done. But in our current world, we tend to take things for granted without knowing much about them. It reminds me a lot of a children's story I read when I was young. It was about a chicken who wanted to make some pie. Now, the fox and the turtle, they refused to help. But in the end, they still want the pie. In spite of their laziness. Today, the pie isn't just, well, pie itself, assuming, well, some people here don't know how to make pie, but it's many things. A lot of us could be familiar with, say, a phone, or a laptop, or some even a game console. But how many of us here, raise your hand, know how to code? Alright. I can see it's not very many. A lot of us enjoy television or film. But many of us have never been to film school. Well, unless you're going to this college specifically for film school, in case, well, congrats. That's what I want to do too. Now, water is considerably more important than, say, media or electronic leisure. And yet, many of us have forgotten how to purify it. Again, it's simple. You can boil it. And boom. Your drink is literally the same as, say, this. It's the same as, say, specific brands, like, say, Arrowhead. Not that I'm sponsored. I don't have much time, but, and apologies if I sound a little left-wing and awkward here. But if you're buying bottled water, for the most part, you're being lazy and you're kind of wasting your money. So find some rainwater and boil it instead. Thank you. My name's Joseph. Triton Academy.
Thank you, guys. What's going to happen here is we wanted to recognise the top collaborators, so a lot of collaborations. So if your name is on the screen, I'm not going to call everyone's name out, I'm just going to sort of stand up where you are. There is a prize for you, which actually, let's go do that a bit. Let's just see how many people are here first. So if your name is on the screen, you're one of the top 20 collaborators in the contest. So if you dare stand up. Stand up. If your name is stand up. You're on the stand up, please. You get a certificate, so we're just going to pass that out. Okay, so Deb is going to run around and give you a certificate of achievement. So stay standing if you're a collaborator, because we've got something for you here.
Right, has everyone got their certificate? That's awesome. Congratulations, thank you so the judges went through and had a look at a lot of ideas, and there's a shortlist in no particular order, and a lot of these ideas are really around practicality, so it's not necessarily about one's got the top vote or anything else, it's just a selection of ideas. So in no particular order, here are 4 of the top ideas. Is it done?
Yes, so we have more passes to Sky High, but they're in the mail, so I just need to get your name and address and we'll make sure you get them.
So you're going to get a pass to Sky High.
My name is Estela Hernandez and I go to Hira.
We're trying to... We want to go to Sky High. So she's not here, unfortunately. It was a group prize. Is there anyone else from the group that can come and play?
Michelle, you're in it, right?
Let's go, Snarky's coming up. Sorry, it's not here. The other great thing about this idea is just about washing your dog on the grass instead of the concrete. And we see it all the time, and it's something you can do at home. Really simple. Another bottle of water idea, Joshua. Another very simple idea, broom or hose. So again, it's really simple, it can be done at home. I see it all the time, people just closing the concrete all day long. And the ultimate water challenge. Again, see, this is what volume and it's all about social media and spreading the word far and wide. So that's the awards part of the evening. So thank you very much for that. Thank you, So that's Phil, unless there's anything else that you need to talk. So once again, thank you very much for your participation. Hope you had fun. Hope you understood how ideas grow and evolve. And all the ideas that you saw about water, the important thing is that you actually go and do something as well. You know, change, turn off the faucets, wash the dog on the grass instead of the concrete. And keep exploring ideas because they will help you find your path and your passion. And you actually, get involved, and that can lead to whole careers. So thank you once again. Thanks to the teachers. Thank you all.
So I just want to thank you all for coming tonight and enjoying a beautiful evening on Cal State Channel Islands campus tonight. Let's give Alcoa one last thank you for making this whole event possible. So, question for all of you. How many people in this room would want to play the game again if we did it again next year? Well, that's pretty overwhelming. Thank you for that vote of confidence here. So we'll be working on that. We're hoping that it will grow nationwide over the whole United States. That'd be wonderful. So thank you for coming tonight. I hope you stay around a little bit. Thank you.